Welcome to my next Better Call Saul Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am, and where you're watching Better Call Saul, or you're just entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I just want to let everybody know I have already seen Better Call Saul every episode. In fact, I reviewed the final season of Better Call Saul on this channel, and you can check out that playlist right here. With about 20 seconds left, I'll put that in the end screen so you can check out all my reviews of the final season of Better Call Saul. And obviously, I recently reviewed all of Breaking Bad and El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I'll put that playlist right down here. So again, with about 20 seconds left to go in this video, that'll be the end screen. That'll be the link to those videos. But with all that said, this will be Better Call Saul Season 1, Episode 2. The title of this episode is called Mijo. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. So Tuco is cooking in the kitchen, and that's when his grandmother comes in with Lars and Cal. Tuco tells his grandma, let me talk to them, and has his grandma go upstairs, turning the volume way up on her TV to watch her soaps. Because they called her Bisnatch, he beats them up with a cane. Grandma is watching her soaps, and again with the volume up and the door shut. Grandma checks on Tuco. He's cleaning up a spot on the carpet. She, of course, thinks it's a wine stain. And then we get Tuco's view of Jimmy, otherwise known as Saul Goodman, and Gene Takovic, coming to the door. Jimmy talks to Tuco about his clients, and we of course see him come out with a gun. And Tuco says, wow, you got a mouth on you. And then they go to see the brothers, Cal and Lars, who are bruised in the garage. They tell Tuco it was all the lawyer's idea. Tuco takes Jimmy and the twins out to the desert. Tuco is with Nodos and Gonzo from Season 1 of Breaking Bad, along with a new character named Nacho, otherwise known as Ignacio Varga. And Jimmy tells Tuco what the plan was, the actual plan involving the Kettlemans and them, jumping in front of the car. And then Nacho brings Tuco a toolbox, and Tuco tells Jimmy he smells lies. And then Tuco is going to actually cut off Jimmy's pinky. And then Jimmy tells Tuco that he's an FBI agent. Because the other story, the truth didn't work, so he has to flip things. So Nacho gets involved with this and gets Jimmy to confess the real situation, which is what Jimmy initially had told Tuco Salamanca. Nacho tells Jimmy he knows where to find him because Jimmy gives him a matchbook with his info on it. And Tuco pulls his knife out and heads towards the twins. Jimmy tells Tuco why he shouldn't kill the twins. He's mad about the Bisnatch stuff and all that. And then Nodo says that they already had a black eye. And of course, Tuco gets mad that he talked. And Jimmy suggests to break their ankles. So Tuco decides to break one leg each, and Jimmy watches in disgust. Again, it was pretty funny that, Tuco got mad at Nodos in Breaking Bad just for some random comment, and he gets mad again just by something he said. Kind of planted the seed for what's to come. Remember, Tuco kills Nodos, which is punching him. Anyway, Jimmy takes the twins to the hospital. One of them calls Jimmy the worst lawyer ever. Jimmy is now, after those events, is at a bar with some woman. Maybe she's a hooker. I don't know for sure, but she's showing some nice cleavage. I initially had called her a lady, but I don't know if a lady would look like that. I don't think they would show as much skin. And Jimmy tells her that he'll be right back, and then he goes in the bathroom and he starts to puke. And then after that, Jimmy ends up at Chuck's place, and Chuck's asking, did he ground himself? And Jimmy just kind of starts taking his pants off, and he's got boxer shorts underneath. And then Jimmy passes out on Chuck's couch, and then Chuck sees Jimmy's cell phone. So he uses a tong. I think it was a tong. Maybe it was something else, but something to pick up the cell phone, and then he kind of just tosses it outside. Now remember, Chuck's got major issues with electricity. It's all in his head essentially, but he freaks out. So Jimmy wakes up in the morning, and Chuck is sitting there, in the chair, wearing his space blanket, and he tells Jimmy he brought in his cell phone last night, and Jimmy, Chuck says he threw it in the yard. And then Jimmy asks him about the medical bill, because the medical bill that he had for the two twins was on the table. And he says what he did was a good thing, and that he's not slipping Jimmy again. And then Jimmy tells Chuck multiple times to take off the space blanket. Take off the space blanket. Take off the space blanket. And then Jimmy goes into the yard to get his phone, the front yard. And then right away, Chuck quickly puts the space blanket back on once Jimmy leaves. And then we have Jimmy going to court. He wants to not starve to death. That's what he tells the woman behind the window. And then Jimmy tells the mirror in the bathroom, "It's showtime, folks." And then Jimmy's light on stickers again. Mike gives him a hard time. Of course, Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. And then we have a montage of Jimmy saying it's showtime in the bathroom. He has many conversations with Bill Oakley, who we'll get to know in the series. Not a lot in it, but we see him. We also see a quick glance of Kim Wexler, who we met at Hamlin, and Big Gil, the blonde that he smokes a cigarette with. But all this happens in like a montage. It's like, it's Jimmy making a lot of money. Well, not a lot, but making money off these cases, these pro bono cases. But anyway, Jimmy says Mike is like a troll under a bridge. Troller alert here. And then Jimmy goes to the nail salon, to his hole-in-the-wall office, which is like a little utility room in this nail salon. He has 0 messages, unfortunately. And then Jimmy's couch in his office turns into a bed, and he lays on it. And then there's a knock at the door. And the lady that kind of runs the nail salon says, "You have customer." And it's actually Nacho, Ignacio Varga. He tells Jimmy that Tuco doesn't know he's here. "So what can I do for you?" And then he asks Jimmy about how much money the Kettlemans stole, and he wants to rip off the Kettlemans. He'll pay Jimmy a finder's fee of 10%, and Jimmy tells Nacho he doesn't know where their money is. And Nacho says, "You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out." And Jimmy says he owes him, if he's ever in trouble, he'll be there for a legal representation, but he doesn't want to help him aside from that. And then Nacho gives his info to Jimmy and says, "When you're in the game, give me a ring." And then Nacho leaves the nail salon, and that's what ends this episode of Better Call Saul. So interesting episode. We get a lot from Tuco Salamanca here. We get a little bit more from Mike Ehrmantraut. Obviously, we get some from Jimmy, otherwise known as Saul Goodman. And then we get No-Dos and Gonzo briefly in this one. So I'm going to give the episode an 8.4 out of 10. I think it was really interesting. Again, we're kind of building this story up. It's got kind of a slow burn where it starts slow and gets better. But 8, that's what I'm going to score it. And then my character of the episode, I could give it to Tuco. I can give it to Chuck. Obviously, Jimmy's the character of the episode, but I don't give it to him because he's the star of the show. So I'm going to give the character of the episode to Nacho Varga. So you've heard everything I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, or El Camino, Breaking Bad movie, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing that like button. Otherwise, I'll have to get Mike Ehrmantraut after you to take care of business. And remember, I cover a lot of the things on this channel. Go to my playlists. I have a lot of stuff. That's the easiest way that you'll find out what I cover. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Better Call Saul. What would you rate the episode? And if you had to pick a character of the episode besides Jimmy, James, Gene/Saul, go ahead and do that. And then last but certainly not least, remember, click right here for my Better Call Saul Season 6 reviews and my Breaking Bad playlist as well. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.